I was addicted to watching porn and masturbating for 6 years straight, and the problem is I tried every single way to stop and nothing worked. Nothing worked at all. And I genuinely tried everything, bro, everything to try and stop, using porn blockers, trying to reduce it gradually, trying to break my bad habit. And this was so frustrating, bro, because I was able to stop video games, stop eating junk food, stop social media relatively easily because of this one thing, but also porn and masturbation was just impossible to stop. And there was this one day, I was watching Hamza, and he said the single greatest way or the easiest way to stop watching porn and fapping is to just change your physical location. So if you're in a place, right, if you're that place, let's say it's your bed, you always fap in your bed, right? The greatest thing you can do, and honestly the best thing you can do, is to just move, is to just sit somewhere else. And the problem is most people will tell you, no, you have to take a deep breath and you have to, try and think of something that makes you happy and all this, bro. Take a deep breath, bro, take a deep breath. It doesn't work. What actually works to stop any bad habit you have is to change your physical environment. And the reason I talk about porn and masturbation because it's like the worst addiction and the addiction I've struggled with probably most of my life, and nothing ever worked for me when I was trying to stop it. But I realized that every single bad habit I was doing, I stopped it in the same way. The single greatest thing you can do to stop any addiction you have is to just change your environment. And I know, bro, you don't like this advice, you don't like hearing this advice because it's too, basic and you think it wouldn't work, but it works, bro. Like, this is how I stopped every single bad habit I was doing. Bro, literally, every single bad habit I had, every single addiction I had, I stopped when I changed my environment, bro. Every single one. And I'm gonna explain how I stopped every single bad habit I was doing in different ways, but of course doing the one thing, which is changing your environment. But I just want to explain to you how addictions work, right? This is how to stop, any addiction. This is how any addiction works. Video games, porn, fapping, junk food, all of these addictions work in the same way. And if you figure out this way, and if you are able to understand this, you will be able to break any addiction you have. Now, addictions work like this. So first of all, we have your environment. And then you have a thought. And then the thought leads to an urge. And then that urge leads to the action or the relapse or whatever. So, environment, then thought, then urge, then action. Now I'm gonna explain this. Let's take watching porn and fapping because it's like the most common. So let's say you're in your bed, right? This is exactly how it happens, right? This is exactly how it happens, bro. You're gonna realize, yes, this is exactly how it happens. You're gonna sit in your bed, right? You're sitting in your bed, you're chilling, you're watching a YouTube video or you're doing something, right? And you always fap in your bed, right? You always do it in your bed. And your brain understands that, yes, we are in the place that we usually fap in, so why not fap now? And that's the second thing, that's the thought, right? That's the thought you get because you're in the place that you do it in, right? And you're still in that environment, you're still sitting in your bed and you're thinking, oh, should I do it, should I not? And then you get an urge, right? You start actually thinking of like your favorite porn video and your favorite videos, and you start just visualizing and you're just so horny, right? And the problem is like it's done, right? You're in the place you fap in, you got the thought, and now it's an urge, then you relapse. That's how it works, right? This is how everything works. Like, let's take video games, for example. You're sitting in the place and you're sitting in the place that you usually play video games in, and for example, it's your room. You're in your room and you have like the PlayStation in front of you and you got the TV screen in front of you, and you're in the place that you usually play video games in. What happens? You start thinking, oh, I'm gonna play video games. But then you start realizing, oh no, but Hamza said or Kevin said it's not gonna be fun and it's not gonna be good for my mental health, right? But then that thought, it's gonna turn into an urge. You're gonna feel, oh, it's gonna feel so good, it's gonna be so fun, and it's gonna trigger my dopamine, it's gonna make me so happy and so fun, right? And my friends are gonna play with me. You have the PlayStation in front of you, you're thinking of playing video games, and now you have an urge, you really want to play. Of course, because you're in the place you play video games in. So of course you're gonna play video games. So literally the single greatest way to stop any addiction you have, and honestly the easiest way, is to just change your environment. And when that happens, you won't get a thought, you won't get an urge, you won't get an action, and all this cycle won't happen. It's that simple, bro. It's that simple. Because I'm gonna explain something again here. Your brain has this very, very deep relationship and deep association between environments and habits. And we kind of understand this in like houses, you know, like when you're in the kitchen, for example, you feel hungry, you feel like you want to eat. Right, when you're in the bathroom, you feel like you wanna piss. You know, it's normal. Like when you're in your bedroom, you feel like you wanna sleep, right? Because there's a bed there. There's like, you just feel like you wanna sleep and relax, right? Now your brain, when it creates habits and addictions in particular, very, very strong addictions or habits, it also creates a very, very, very strong correlation with the habit and the environment. A very, very deep correlation between the environment and the habit. So why not take that to your advantage? So when you change the environment, automatically, instantly, you will change your habits. And this is what I realized with masturbating and watching porn, for example. That when I used to watch porn and fap, I used to get really, really horny, you know, And when I changed my environment, and not even like change my environment, like live somewhere else. No, I would just stay in my room and just sit somewhere else, right? Sit in like a chair or on my bench or somewhere else. Instantly that urge would disappear, right? Because my brain understands, yes, we're not in the place that we usually do the habit in, so I can't do this habit because the environment has changed. You know, does that make sense, right? And bro, like, try this, bro. If you are still addicted to watching porn and fapping, or video games, or junk food, or social media, or anything, just change your environment. Just sit somewhere else when you get an urge, and instantly you will realize that that urge has disappeared. Like, bro, I know I use like porn and masturbation as an example a lot, but this was honestly the biggest addiction I've had. You know, I discovered it in a very, very young age. So I was addicted to it for so many years, and I genuinely, bro, I tried everything, and this is the only thing that worked. After 6 years, this is how I stopped fapping and watching porn. It's just simply changing my environment. It's just sitting somewhere else. It's that simple. Any mental fatigue, without any willpower, without any effort, if you just sit somewhere else, if you just change your environment, you will instantly notice that you don't want to do that addiction anymore or that habit anymore. Right? Like the reason, bro, like so many people, bro, are addicted to video games. It's because the PlayStation and the TV are literally in your room, bro. They're literally in your room. Junk food. It's because like you have tons and tons of like chip bags and tons of chips in your room and tons of like fried chicken. Your room literally smells like food. That's why you're addicted to it. You know, for example, what else? Social media. It's because you have all the apps in front of you. So of course you're gonna be addicted to social media. This is how I stopped every single bad habit, bro. It's just changing the environment. Now let me tell you how I stopped every single bad habit I had and every single addiction I had. All right. So first of all, let's start with video games. Because I know this is probably like the most common thing and most young men still play video games and they can't stop. Like I was. I literally couldn't stop video games at all. But the way I stopped video games is when I was really addicted to video games, when I used to watch and play tons and tons of video games, I'll play it for like 8 hours, I realized that I always had the PlayStation and the TV or the Xbox or whatever in my room. So what I did was I moved it to another room. And I'm gonna be honest, this didn't work instantly. Like instantly I noticed that I decreased the amount of video games I would play a lot. The amount of time I played decreased by like 80%, right? But honestly, sometimes I would still go and play in that other room. But then I slowly just realized that, you know, it's not that fun anymore because I don't play in my room. So it's not that fun. So I just didn't play at all. And another thing is, the PlayStation and the TV, they were not in front of me. I couldn't see them, they weren't obvious. You know, the book Atomic Habits is an amazing book on how to stop habits. And he has these like 4 ways to stop any bad habit, which are: make it invisible, make it unattractive, make it hard, and make it unsatisfying. And when you change your environment, you have all 4 of these. Like when I put my PlayStation and my TV in another room, it was invisible because I always sit in my room and I didn't have to look at the PlayStation. I didn't see it was invisible, so I didn't want to do it because I couldn't even see it, right? It was unattractive because I didn't really want to play in another room. I wanted to play in my room, so it was unattractive. It was hard because I physically have to get up and go to another room and check if someone's in the room and, you know, turn the light on and get the PlayStation. You know what I mean? It was hard and unsatisfying. Like I didn't really feel good after doing it. So that's video games. Put your PlayStation in another room, or your PC or your TV or whatever. Put it in another room. That's how you stop video games forever. All right. Second one is porn and fapping. And I've talked about this probably in the entire video, so I'm just gonna tell you the way. Like, when you get urges, move from your bed and sit somewhere else. It's that simple, bro. You don't need to overcomplicate it. And even better, just sleep somewhere else. But that's honestly very hard, and I couldn't really do that. So just when you get an urge, sit somewhere else. It's that simple. Alright? The third habit is social media. And social media is an interesting one because you can't really change your physical environment, but this works for a physical environment or a digital environment. And what I did was I deleted all the apps Of course, like not at one time. Like honestly, I would delete Instagram, then keep overthinking about deleting TikTok, then delete TikTok, then overthink about deleting Facebook, then delete Facebook, you know. So it wasn't like at one time, but I deleted one app and I told myself I'll just use the browser version instead. Like I just go on Google and use the browser version. And because the browser version is absolute shit, I didn't want to watch social media anymore. You know, it was that simple. And this goes hand in hand with the Atomic Habits example that I did, the 4 steps to stop any bad habit, is when you delete the apps, the social media apps, it's invisible, it's unattractive, you don't want to, you know, go on a browser, it's so unattractive, and like you log out very easily, you have to keep logging in, it's so just boring. It's hard because you have to go on Chrome and you have to search and you have to find the right account and all this boring stuff, and it's unsatisfying. It's not even like that gratifying when you finish. You know, this is also the power in environment. When you change your environment, you get all the 4 steps to break any bad habit, which are make it invisible, make it unattractive, make it hard, and make it unsatisfying. So that's social media. So the last thing I want to say, and I just want to prove to you that this works, is environment makes it invisible, it makes it unattractive, it makes it hard, and it makes it unsatisfying. So you can get all these benefits to break a bad habit just by changing your environment. The single greatest way to quit all addictions is to change your environment. And I showed you how I stopped all of my addictions by using this, by changing my environment. And I really want this video to help you, bro. If you made it this far, you're really a G. And I know, bro, like there's so much bullshit on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. There's so much BS out there, and people who just say stuff for views. I know this video won't get a lot of views because it's so basic and simple, but it makes sense and it works, and it worked for me. And I'm not here to get views or get subscribers. I'm here to provide value. All right, and as always, we're in this together and we're gonna make it. I promise you, we're gonna make it together. Peace, take care.